sending in the stopper, it sounds like some sort of like episode of like some sort of mystery novel. What is sending in the stopper? What's a stopper? And you know?
So the stopper is like the guy in your shop that can fix anything. He's the guy that can deal with any customer. He's the stopper. Like when we have to settle this problem with a customer,
put it to bed.
This is the guy we're going to send in. And I've been fortunate to work with a few of those heroes over the years. And I'll just call two of them out today if it's okay.
Yeah,
but
go for it.
Like one of them was Michael Queen. Hey, Michael. And Michael, he was a technician. He became a supervisor. And he's just that guy that he can call a customer, and it's that customer that says, hey, if you don't call me back in 5 minutes, I'm going to yelp you.
I've been waiting 4 minutes.
I want a full refund, like I'm never using you again, I'm going to slam you on social media. And Michael Queen can call that customer, and in 5 minutes or so, have them all calm down, and he's the stopper, and it's just amazing. He's the first guy I heard say, well, ma'am, if they treated me like that, I would be mad too. Which is a great line for
Say that one again.
Stopper.
Like, what did he say?
He said, like, hey, I understand you're mad, and if they treated me like that, I'd be mad too.
Oh, I bet that
decompresses
the situation.
Really
right?
good, really good. He also understands that if you have an upset customer, call that customer back right away.
Oh, time is of the essence.
Time is super duper important. The other really stopper that I've known was Randy Tooker. Now, hey, Randy. And Randy Tooker, super technical guy, can fix anything. Been in the business a really long time. If you can't fix it, you can call Tooker, and he can come out there and he can fix it. And he's probably one of the nicest people in the entire industry. Aww. And so he kills that customer with kindness. And that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to, there's a specific thing that we want to do when we have that upset customer.
Ah, it's interesting. So I think when we think of all of the people that we've worked with, and in fact, I'm wondering if people sitting here right now are thinking, yeah, I'm the stopper, or are they thinking, we typically know who the stopper is. Like if we asked anybody here, they'd be like, yep, I'd call Ken if I was in trouble. Now shocking, this is going to shock you, but I was not always the stopper that you see before you. I remember the first time I went on call. So I'd been a PM tech, and then summer came, and they were like,
now you're a demand tech.
Yeah. Exactly. It's like, and a true story is like, hey, your next call's changed. I got no cooling. I was like, I actually called them back and said, I think you made a mistake. But they sent me anyway. It's fine. Nailed it. Aced it. But I went onto the on-call schedule, and I was pretty proud of myself. And the next two mornings later, I walk in. It was a nice size shop, and there was 4 or 5 of the guys standing talking, and then there were some other people over in the break room. And I get one foot in the door, top of his lungs. Hey, it's the callback kid.
Oh, you got a nickname.
Oh boy, did I! I'm not going to say I cried, but I definitely was not feeling great the rest of the day. But it was funny because I was like, Mom, I tried my best, Mom. And but that guy took me aside later that week, and he told me a few things, and a few things stuck with me. He says, the only person that doesn't have a callback is the person that doesn't get out of the truck. And it was through that conversation and that funny episode that I realized that, oh, this is about getting good. And he took me aside, and he actually told me everything that was wrong with it, what I'd missed, and it struck up a great relationship. And hopefully people have that kind of relationship on the team where they're seeking that feedback, because feedback is a gift. Maybe not yelled at the top of your insert nickname here, but feedback is a gift. But like those people on the team that can fix anything, they're so important. What are some of the things that you've learned? Like, what else have you learned from those people?
I've learned this. Like, if you're not making any mistakes, you're not trying hard enough.
Oh, yeah.
And so one thing I listened to Randy Tooker say to a technician one time. A technician calls and said, hey, I blew up this motor. Randy said, hey, that's really good. Way to go. You're trying.
We know it's not the motor.
Right. And so one thing I learned a long time ago was you should sit on the same side of the table as the customer.
Oh, okay.
And so, I was in sales a long time, but as a technician, as a salesperson, as an electrician, as a plumber, as a commercial guy, as a residential guy, it's all about the same. So after you make those options, or you go to your van, you spend a few minutes putting some solutions together for that customer, you're going to come back in. And in this book, it said you should sit on the same side of the table as the customer. And so I would try to, like, you know, talk to the customer like this. And sometimes I would come back in and they would be sitting on the couch.
Yep, very
and
common.
if they were sitting on the couch, I didn't say, like, you should come over and sit at the table.
Yeah, do you have a minute? Right.
It's their house,
Yep.
right? So if they're sitting on the couch, I would just go down on one knee and talk about options.
I do. Oh, sorry.
Okay. I may go to the kitchen and grab a chair and drag it across the room and sit across from the coffee table because they're sitting on the couch.
And it's about, you're always saying, it's not about don't rush past the equipment. It's about the person.
It's about the customer. And so what it really meant in this book about sitting on the same side of the table is, when you talk to them, it's, what should we do? How can we handle this problem?
Yep.
How do you want to take care of this with us?
I love it,
right?
because when you think of sitting across the table, it's the sort of negotiation. It's the hard tack, elbows out. This is here's my offer. Here's my counter offer, and it gets kind of. I remember hearing something similar where it's like it's adversarial, and you never want to be like that. Friends get together and discuss things and sit side by side.
You take that emotion out of it, but it's never us and them.
Right. Remove the physical barriers when you
It's
can.
us, and so stoppers know that.
Yeah, they do.
They know that,
Yeah.
and they're really, really good at that.
What's the one trait that you've seen in all stoppers?
In all stoppers, this is it. Listen, don't save the call, save the customer. That is the most important thing that we can share today. Like, it's really hard to get a new customer. We spend hundreds of dollars to try to get a new customer. When you have a customer, you want to keep that customer. So don't try to save that $300 call. Save that customer so we can do business with them again and again, and they'll tell all their friends about what a great job you did.
You know, for me, I think the one thing that I've noticed that, and this goes, we'll talk about the different kinds of stoppers there are, but the one thing I've noticed, whether it's dealing with the person or dealing with like some super technical, hard to find problem, they're patient.
They are.
Like the really good ones, they're just patient. They're just willing to put in the time. And so whether it's and for me, I'll be honest, I struggle with that. That's not my strength. I've worked at it over the years. But when I first started, if I couldn't find it in like 45 minutes, and it's usually, listen, these calls are usually, they're not the easy ones. They're the low voltage shorts. They're this is the fourth time it's gone out on high pressure for HVAC, or you know, it's hammering behind the walls, or an inconsistent leak. It's the lights flickering. It's the noise call, or it's the you know, the customer who doesn't understand what's going on and is upset, right? And customers get upset. That's their prerogative. Our job is to make sure that we're communicating and that we're sticking with it, because I love it. Don't save the call, save the customer. Because after all, why are we in this if we're not doing it for that, right?
Yeah, patience is a virtue. And so listen, these guys that are really good at this, the real stoppers, the real heroes, they may not be the most technical, but they're willing to put the time in to save that call. And not every call turns into like a 3-hour journey,
right?
But they're willing to put that time in, and so that's a good tip for you young people out there.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting to me about the stopper, and again, speaking to everybody here, it's sort of like what you were saying. It's sort of like our big rocks. It's sort of like our anchor habits. There comes a point this is your job, or is this your career? And if it's your career, like, the one thing I learned from, like, when it was Bob, when Bob took me aside and says, listen, here's what you missed, he was encouraging me to make the decision to go deeper, to be better, right? But by taking the time to tell me what was wrong, he was assuming that I cared and that I would want to be better. And the one thing that I've known about stoppers is they didn't come out the womb holding an install manual and a multimeter, right? That would be weird. But man, they were willing to put the work in and progressively got better. They were the ones paying attention when the manufacturer's rep was there. They asked questions if they didn't understand. They were never worried about people thinking they were dumb for asking a question. Like, they understood there was a time to learn, and they took it all in. And I think that ability to learn is really, really intrinsic to what makes a good stopper. What do you think the value of being like, why should someone care about being a stopper relative to their career, the rest of their career?
Well, you're valuable no matter where you work, and that information that you learn by going to the next level, you're going from college ball to pro ball, and a stopper is always like a professional. Like they're playing at a pro level, and their value stays with them. So if the shop closes up, you're going to be the last person with a set of keys. Like if you were to move and, the grandkids move away and you want to move closer to them, you can get a job just like that because you're the stopper. And hey, put a comment in today, like who's the stopper in your shop? I would love to know, like, who's the stopper?
You were saying earlier, what do they call that in sports? It's the
franchise player.
The people they build a team around.
Yeah.
When you're a stopper, and again, it could be technical, but it could just be like dealing with customers, right? Like I wasn't always the most technical, but you could pretty much send me any call, and man, they'll build a team around you, and that's a great place to be in your career. And again, don't do it for us, don't do it for your boss, do it for yourself. Invest in yourself. Be good today. So listen, what's the takeaway? I think today, let's challenge everyone to pick one thing that you're going to be good at. And decide today to always be better. Just pick one thing. You get to choose, and again, choose for your own reasons, because you said you were going to be better, because you've got commitments you made to your family, because you want to put your kids through college. Whatever the reason is, you want a bigger bass boat. Pick the reason, but then pick that one thing that you're going to be good at today, and let us know. I would love to know. Right?